Hello, everyone. This is your Princess Maryanne Parker, and today we'll be talking about very intriguing topics. I want to welcome you again to our podcast. I'm here at the beautiful Coronado, representing my favorite podcast studio, iqpodcast.com. And I have a song for you. So you probably know this song. This is Rihanna and Justin Timberlake, and she is talking about going to rehab after breakup. And I'm sure that many people can relate to our topic because yesterday was Valentine's and everyone was so excited. Everyone was posting pictures with their loved ones, cooking special meal, going to an interesting restaurant, doing different things. I saw actually people from my country celebrating Valentine's in Zanzibar, in the Maldives. So everyone is trying to have a great time. But how about the people that actually were lonely yesterday? How about everyone who broke up recently with their Valentine, or God forbid, is about to break up, in the day or two from now? Because I don't know if you're aware, but according to a recent statistic, 10% of the American couples are actually breaking up before Valentine's or shortly after. And you know what? Sometimes the relationships are a no-go. It is very difficult to be repaired, or maybe there is no match, there is no chemistry. So many different reasons for a separation. But should we follow some etiquette rules? And my idea of breakup is to do it in a classy, mannered way. Because you know what? Many times, actually, we end up meeting the same people somewhere down the road, and we don't want to communicate with them. We have just this bitter taste in our mouth. It's just an unpleasant situation. And I encourage you, if you have some really shocking stories, please share with us. You can post below on this podcast. And I don't know what is your biggest and the most unattractive way that someone broke up with you, but I'm going to start with my list, and I have a really big list here. I wrote about 25 etiquette rules, how to break up or how not to break up with a person. Also the gift giving etiquette, because you know what, many people actually do not know the etiquette about gift giving and receiving. So about tipping, about many things. So I just want to go quickly to my list, and we're going to start with the first one. The first one for me is breaking up through a text message. And I am sure that this probably happened to many of you, so I'm not alone. And, you know, unfortunately, some of those, experiences happened to me personally. I'm not going to share which one exactly, but probably I will. I don't know. Depends how I feel. I don't have my champagne right now, but if I had it, probably I'll share even more. So the first, how I said, is the breaking up with someone through a text message. The reason why I think that this is a very unthoughtful way to break up with someone is because you're showing a very a cowardly behavior. You know, if you're involved with someone and you're not happy with the person, and if you have some issues, I think the best way is to pick up the phone, discuss the matter, and if you made up your mind, just leave the relationships and let them know. Breaking up through a text message is very painful, and unfortunately, the person in front of you, or the person who you are sending a text message, is not going to be hurt about the breakup, which you probably wish, but is going to be hurt because they made a very bad judgment in the beginning. Unfortunately, you know, most of us as adults, we see the red flags from the very beginning, don't you? I am sure that you do as well. So when you see those red flags and you're very attracted in front of the by the individual, or in general maybe you feel lonely at that point, or you're seeking revenge for a former partner, or whatever the case. You just make mistakes, and everybody does. So when you see a red flags, just follow your intuition, and remember that the person who broke up through the text, this is the way how they do basically everything, because the way we do one thing is the way we do everything. So and you're very lucky actually that you got rid of this individual. They end, unfortunately, they come back. So, how about the second one is ghosting? This is a new word that I actually learned from my kids. I have teenagers, two teenagers. Thank God they're not in the dating scene yet, but they share certain things, and they told me, "Mom, you don't know what is a ghosting? How come?" So I've learned that ghosting is when, and I'm sure that many people experience those type of behaviors, but they just don't know that this is ghosting. So ghosting is when the individual you are dating is actually disconnects you from every single social media channel. Basically, you don't have any contact with this person. They're going to cut you. They're going to block you from social media, from LinkedIn, from Instagram. You don't know where they live. So basically, the easier was very easy for them to add you maybe on Facebook, and it is very easy for them to disconnect with you. So unfortunately, this is a terminology dated since the 2000s, and we're learning as we go. So ghosting is another very unattractive behavior. So be careful with those type of people. Number 3, and this one is unfortunately something that I see very, very often, is called manipulation. We all know what manipulation is, but what is a manipulation in relationships? So I think that people who are guilty about something, they twist the situation and they put the blame on you. And if you don't have a strong self-esteem, I have to tell you that this can actually damage you. This can break you and can create potential insecurity for you for your future relationship. So it becomes this is a very dangerous behavior, and happens much more often than you think. For example, somebody is talking. So your girlfriend is talking to someone, but because she feels guilty because she's doing it, so she starts thinking that you might be doing it as well, and she's starting to put some kind of a blame on you, that you're talking to maybe your previous partner, or the sister of your best friend, or whatever the case. So be very, very mindful about it, because some people this is actually their way of behaving, not only about relationships, but this is how they grew up. Probably is something in their background that prompts them to behave that way, because they cannot really take a responsibility, and you're going to be responsible for their own mistakes. So be very mindful about people like that. How I said, if this affects your self-esteem, you really don't want to deal with that. Just always check your surroundings mentally. So realize what is good for you. And if you know that you are not doing anything wrong, just confront them or just leave the relationships. So number 4, oh, this never happened to me, but I've heard that it's happening to many people. Excuse me. Breaking with someone on their birthday, Valentine's, or Christmas, for example. So what happens? Why someone is going to break up with you on those type of celebratory days, on those experiences? So the situation might be, maybe they have some kind of a revenge. They want to humiliate you publicly. I don't really know, but a classy individual would never, ever break up with you on Valentine's, or even if you don't celebrate Valentine's, or on your birthday, or on big holidays, because it is very hurtful and is very disappointing. So this is not a good etiquette tip, not a good etiquette technique for you to break up with someone. Stay classy. Well, how about asking your friend, sister, brother, or anybody to deliver the message that you are about, or you are actually ready to break up? Excuse me, but are you 12 years old or are you at high school, in high school? So grow up. This is something that you should really consider overthinking, because you want to face the person that you're planning to break up. You don't want to send someone else on your behalf. How I said, the way you do everything is the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So don't break up through somebody. You don't need a messenger. This is a relationship between you and your partner, and it has to be done that way. um that's a very the next one is leaving a relationship after you received an expensive gift, money, or both. So this is a very sad one, and shows a lot about you. So what do I mean by that? For example, you're dating somebody, and this someone is actually assuring you that he's the love of your life, and you guys are gonna get married, and everything is so personable and so beautiful. But the person actually wanted something from you. Happens every day. And you go with this individual on an expensive vacation, or you purchase something very memorable that is really expensive. And 2 weeks later, this individual decides actually to leave the relationship. So in this case, I have to tell you that you're very, very lucky that this happened. So don't feel bad about you. It's not you that you're stupid or silly, or things happen in life to the best of us. And how do you feel about this individual? Do you really think that you won't even you'll forget about the beautiful moments that you had? You just see him or her as a prop, because this is the reality, and we're not sugarcoating anything today, because we want to be truthful. We want to show the reality of our relationships, and sometimes it's very painful, and I'm sure that many people can relate to that. And if you can guess what happened to me from those examples, you're definitely getting a gift, because you deserve one. Also, if we don't manage to talk about all the topics, all the everything on my list today, I can definitely send you a copy of all of the bad breakups and bad gift giving and receiving etiquette. I'll send it to you even today or tomorrow. Also, if you're very sad, please let me know, because I want to send you a gift. That's a given. So let's talk a little bit about the worst gifts and behavior for Valentine's. So not just for Valentine's, it's not just Valentine's. Many people don't even celebrate Valentine's, because you know what? If you're in love, if you want to date, if you want to meet people, you don't celebrate anything on Valentine's. In my country, we don't celebrate Valentine's. Now we started, but we celebrate different day. Today, actually, yesterday was a celebration about Sveti Trifon Zarezan. This is the name of a holy person who was actually representing the wine and the vine and all of those beautiful things. So we pretty much drink on this day. So let's talk about the worst gifts and behavior for Valentine's. The first one I'm thinking is telling your partner that you do not celebrate Valentine's just to avoid spending money. Well, you know what? I'll tell you something. If you're in a relationships, and if you've been in a relationships for a long time, or even if you haven't, if a person asks you, or you can see that they really, really want to enjoy this day, even if you don't celebrate Valentine's Day, is it gonna kill you just to take them somewhere, or to buy them flowers or chocolate, or just to say, you know what, I want you to celebrate? You like it, even excuse me, even if the person see the commercial side, just the chocolates and the bunny or whatever the case is, just do it. Is it so traumatic? It's just a very simple method, and you're going to avoid a lot of scandals in your household. It's just the simple things in life, and I think that comes with age sometimes, but I just wanted to share, because what I'm telling you, I'm telling my kids. So if my daughter or my son decides to do something one day, I don't pettiness is not necessary in any kind of a relationship. Just celebrate that Valentine's. How about do not gift anything that you purchased for a previous partner? Well, And especially, I don't know if this happened to you. Never happened to me, by the way, but I had worse things that happened to me, but not this particular one. So this is a very good indication about the relationship. So if this is not Prince Harry, for example, or someone from the royal family, and the wedding ring belonged to someone from the royal institution, then this is a very bad example. You don't want to gift your partner or the person you're dating right now, and you don't want to give them something that used to was meant for someone else, because the energy is not the same any longer. You want to give them something that is meaningful for them. And especially if you mention, I actually bought this ring, or I bought this necklace for my previous girlfriend, but we broke with her. We broke up exactly before I gave it to her. How do you think that your new girlfriend is going to feel, or your new boyfriend? So I think it's very unattractive to go into a situation like that. Just read the room. Read the room. Certain things you might not even share. Don't feel bad, because the fact that you didn't say something didn't mean that you did lie. Certain things you don't want to go out there and share with the public, and especially your potential partner. Let's see. Next one. This one is a little tricky because everything in California is still closed, but avoid cheap restaurants. There is a very thin line between being cheap and frugal. And if you're frugal, that's great. I definitely respect frugal people. Sometimes I'm frugal, but I wish that I'm more frugal more often. I'm not. So if you're taking your date to a cheap restaurant, you have to understand that shows that you're not very dedicated. Usually when we buy a expensive perfume, we cherish this expensive perfume much more than if we purchase a cheap perfume. Am I right? So, in other words, if you really respect your relationships, create a nice atmosphere, take this person to a nice restaurant. Well, I'm not suggesting, the five-star restaurant here in San Diego that just opened last year. But I am suggesting something really pleasant, not very expensive, but pleasant and comfortable. Well, the next one, I'm sure that many of you are going to agree. And even I listened to a TV show. Don't go on a date with coupons, because this is so tacky. This is really, really unattractive. And I've seen it. I've seen people actually suggesting, what, when she sees me, or when he sees me, that I'm so thoughtful about our money, this actually might, people are different. I agree with that, because there is a passenger for every train. People say that. But if someone invites me somewhere with the coupon and we start clipping the coupons, I have to tell you that I'll probably leave. So coupons might be a good idea on a later stage. Just how I said earlier, read the room, because you never know. Coupons are not a good idea. Well, sometimes I want to tell you a very important etiquette tip. I'm originally from Bulgaria, how I mentioned before, and this happens a lot. I'll tell you the story. If you are inviting someone on a date to a restaurant or anywhere, you're the one who is going to handle the bill. You're going to pay for everything. You're going to pay for the menu, for the dinner. You're going to pay. You're going to tip the waiter. You're going to pay for the valet parking. You're the one who is responsible. So the trivial 50-50 doesn't really work in a proper etiquette environment. And I have to tell you that I'm coming from a country, and actually this was a problem in my business endeavors, because when I worked with people from the Middle East and I take them for a business dinner, and they in our countries, Middle East or Eastern Europe, the men are the ones that pay the bill. So they feel very offended if I'm the one who initiates to pay the bill. So I had a situation previously with a very high profile person from the Middle East, and I invited them for dinner, and I wanted to pay the bill and they got offended. So I had to really maneuver and navigate the whole situation. So this is something in business or dating or whatever. You have to always understand that if you initiate the meeting, you're the one who pays the bill. So um, if you ask your date to leave a tip, this is a very, very bad situation, and it looks very, very bad on you. So, how about dressing too casually? Well, I have to tell you that sometimes when you are taking someone to a special occasion, they always have to dress to impress. You don't need to wear, always know what you're supposed to wear. You don't want to go over the top, and you don't want to be so different than anyone else, or in general, dressing to impress and dressing properly, dressing nicely shows a lot of respect to the person who is inviting you. Because I'm sure that you had situations when you're inviting someone to a high profile event, and because they're so cool, they don't care how they look. They didn't take a shower. They didn't brush their teeth. It's just disgusting. So you always have to make sure that if you're invited and you want to show some respect to the person who is inviting you, dress to impress, and might be actually leading to some kind of a success in your relationship. So there is a reason for everything. Use a little bit of perfume, a little bit of cologne if you're a gentleman, or just look decent. So, how about giving cash for a gift? I work with people because I'm an etiquette consultant in business and social etiquette, and I work with people from all over the world with different cultures. I've traveled the world, so I pretty much know that in many cultures, giving gift cash in a cash value is very unattractive. Everyone likes cash, right? But in many situations, giving cash is very bad. In some cultures, giving cash in red envelopes or whatever the case, this is for Christmas, not Christmas, but for the new year, is the norm to live. But if you're going on a date with a particular individual, always make sure that you want to give them a gift, not cash, because you are not trying to purchase them. You're not trying to buy them. You don't want to show them that they're what means cash? Cash is money that you actually didn't spend the time to invest and to buy them something meaningful, something cherishable, something for them to remember you, because money come and go. So make sure that you purchase something that is very valuable, or even if it's something small, don't worry. It doesn't have to be on top of the world, but has to be something meaningful. How about, I know that many couples are arguing on one specific topic, and I had people that I actually had several emails, and they were telling me how to navigate certain situations. For example, when your partner starts bringing up negative topics, something that happened 5 years ago. It's Valentine's, or it's just a date night, and you want to warm up your relationships, and your partner, after a glass of wine or whatever the case, she or him starts bringing up negative connotations. This is very, very wrong, because if you want to move on and you're still living in the past, I don't think that this can be possible, because the relationships, and I'm not a dating coach, but those are basic etiquette techniques that I want to share with you. And I know how people feel. So if I did something wrong 2 years ago, I mean, depend if we're still together. Obviously, we went over this topic several times, right? Like I'm not talking in my case, but you had a problem with your mother-in-law, and you don't really particularly like your mother-in-law. So are you going to keep bringing the mother-in-law and how she did 5 years ago? You don't want to do that. You want to enjoy life. So minimize the negative situations and memories to an extent that you're going to enjoy your life with your partner. Those are very basic things, but sometimes when you're very young, or when you're scoring, you're keeping score, you want to compete with your partner about certain things, you bring negativity, and I think that is very is not a good thing for you to do. Wow, that's let's see what else we have here. How about comparing your date to your previous spouse, partner, or whoever you used to date? So I think that this is just plain ugly. When you start comparing your previous relationships to the current relationships, first of all, these are two completely different people, right? And some people might tell you, okay, you're telling me about John, but what this has to do with me? I am maybe Peter. This is my name, and I'm completely different person. So, unfortunately, many people have a mental pre-composition, or just that they behave in a way because they have been hurt in the past. So, if you're one of those people, you don't really necessarily have to see a therapist, but try to work on yourself on your own. Just don't consider your new relationships being the same as the previous ones. So don't bring anything from previous relationship names, experiences. So try to forget about it because it's a new day. Bad surprises. Oh my God. I don't know if you like surprises. I personally don't, because sometimes some bad surprises are very devastating, or make me sad, or I'm just very nostalgic, or whatever the case. But this bad surprise is just something very basic. Okay, you have a date and all of a sudden you decide that you're going to bring your best friend. Why? You have a date with this particular individual, and I know because I have I have a lot of friends, and they tell me what is happening to them. And to me it's funny because maybe I'm just too occupied, but for the individual is not. Because if this individual invites you somewhere and you just bring your best friend, you don't feel comfortable in the company of this of your date. If you don't, I think that the best way is not to go, because or create something else, or don't give an excuse, just move forward, or invite them at home. But bringing your best friend, or your whoever you decide, I think is very bad etiquette. Also, if it is a double date, that's a different story. This is a previous arrangements, and you decide to bring for four of you to enjoy, or six people to enjoy. So this is very, very different. um well, we can talk a lot, to be honest with you. I have just a few left, but please feel free to bring more, because I'm sure that many people have something to say and they feel hurt. And I decided to talk about it because many people don't. But you're not the only one who experiences bad behaviors in dating. So, how about being disappointed in the gift? I've seen it so many times. Many people receive something that they didn't want, or they didn't. They were expecting something bigger, more expensive, or maybe engagement ring, or platinum ring, or whatever the case. So I'll tell you something: when you get a gift, if you're the receiver, you always have to show appreciation. Of course, if the gift is not very tacky, or something really ugly, something really bad, but if it is something meaningful, just thank the person for the gift. If you don't like the gift, because you're not going to lie to them, you just want to show them that you appreciate it, and you want to say something nice to the gift giver. You're not going to talk about the gift if you don't like the gift, but if you want to be grateful, so say something nice about the gift giver, that the person is so thoughtful and remembered what you like. And something very common, not being present during dinner. So this happens every single day. Couples are going out, or we're staying at home. Everyone is on their phone. And you're talking about something, honey, I want to tell you something. And the person in front of you doesn't have a clue, or they just come into the conversation with something completely different in mind. And you get so irritated, or you just have to repeat yourself over and over. So this is what happens: the connection is lost, and we have to stop with those phones, because if you're going to a restaurant, or if you're going to on a date, or if you're having some meaningful conversations, the phone should be avoided, just as before, when people used to excuse themselves when they had to take a call only when was extremely, extremely important. This is the best etiquette tip I can give you, because, and you know what, I'm guilty of that too. Sometimes when I talk to my kids, I'm on the phone, because not on the phone talking, but I'm doing business, because everything is out in our phones today. And I catch myself and I feel so sad sometimes, because I'm avoiding my kids just to pay attention to my business. This shouldn't be happening. So I always catch myself, and you should do too. Oh my God, this next one is avoid insulting gifts. You know what? Sometimes being, if you're very mindful, if you always want to bring a gift and you want to be a nice person, but sometimes unfortunately, common sense is not always common practice. So sometimes when we bring something to an individual, if you're suggesting that they have to lose weight, or you're giving them a toothbrush or a toothpaste or a whitening kit, or membership for the gym, if the topic wasn't discussed previously, please avoid doing anything like that, because it's very, very it is actually an insult. They're going to ask you, oh, you mean that I need to lose weight? You don't think that I'm attractive that way? So you want to keep the relationships flowing in a very positive way, without any kind of interactions in something negative. And I've got only two left. Avoid very expensive gifts. You see, when you are a gift giver and you really want to show so much appreciation to a person, you give them a gift, right? But if it is very expensive, they can't really reciprocate, and it's very difficult for them. So you're putting them actually in a very difficult position. So it is another story if you want to make them feel uncomfortable, if you want to intimidate them. Of course, you're going to give them a gift that they cannot really afford. So, and usually some gifts you don't have to accept, but at the same time, giving gifts back is a very bad etiquette. Only if you really want to make some kind of a statement, or if it is extremely expensive gift and you are a very ethical person and you don't want to continue the relationships, then you can actually say, I'm so sorry, this is too much. Let's do something else. This is just too much for me. So this is the way you're going to behave. And my last tip is, don't include the price. You always can have the receipt because maybe the person wants to exchange the gift, but do not include the price at any case, because showing the price can shows actually might be very expensive, might be very cheap, might be in between, but you're showing that, what, I actually want to show you that I can do it, or how much money I spent on you. So I'm expecting that you're going to do the same for me next time. So I hope that you enjoyed my tips. I hope that you had some fun. And I would like to thank our great, great sponsors. I'm so grateful for them. And this is Attorney King, Suquan Casino and Resort, Indian Motorcycle of San Diego, The Gym, Serrano's Coronado, and IB Fitness. And this is from Meet for Today, your Princess of Posh, or the IQ podcast member, Posh Overnight with the Princess, however you feel like. And I hope to see you on the 1st of March, the same time, same place, 11:30 a.m. Thank you, guys. Bye.